Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to a brand new TT Pod. I'm your host, Ben, and today I am joined by Craig. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, you're on mute. Let me unmute you. That's my fault. That's my bad. There we go.
Oh, very good, very good, Ben. How are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate, especially after yesterday's win, which we will get into. And also joining us is a wild Mike Quill. So, yeah, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I finished work exactly 30 seconds ago, and then I rushed to make sure I could log in. So there we go, boys. Craig, lovely to see your face, mate. Long time no see. I thought marriage had killed you. I was worried about
yeah, absolutely. That's why you haven't seen me. You know, it's just a married man who's been trapped away. I'm like
you've been trapped away in the cage. The beard's coming along nicely though, brother. But how you doing, Ben? You doing okay?
I'm all good, bro. Thank you. You guys did a good show the other night with the Bournemouth preview, so well done on that one. But yeah, we're back now, guys. We've got an action-packed hour long or so pod tonight. We've got a lot to get into. We're obviously going to discuss the game yesterday. That's going to be a big portion of it because there's a lot to break down from that game. Then we're going to preview Fulham. And then we're going to speak a little bit about the academy and a few of the players that we've been using this season from our academy. So if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribing to the channel first and foremost, so you don't miss any future streams or pre-recorded stuff because there's more content coming out now. Also, if you're on Twitter, because we like to put this out on Twitter because I know people have different preferences, retweet it, drop a like, get involved in the conversation on there. And obviously, if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just drop us a follow on there. Whatever you're doing, whatever platform you're watching us on, just support us the way you can. And speaking of support, massive shout out to our channel sponsor, Your Foot Card. These guys have been incredible for us. You know, they've been really, really generous and absolutely fantastic company. And I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring us. I actually have a card here, a Kenny Dalglish one. This is the one that I always go to show, but there's a couple more down there. But this is the King Kenny one. And right now, they have just released, if I go on to create cards here, the brand new, where is it? I was looking at it a minute ago. Bear with me. Team of the Year design. There we go. Beautiful blue and gold. And if you didn't know, Virgil and Alisson are in Team of the Year. Trent could potentially be in it. He is up against Cristiano Ronaldo for the 12th man vote. So if you've got FIFA, log on, vote for Trent so he gets in there. But
vote for Trent.
Yeah, there's some giveaways coming as well for Alisson and Virgil card on Twitter tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Get involved with that when you see it. Yourfootcard.com. Usually, I would say use our discount code to get 15% off. But I've just checked on here, and it says use Jan Sale for 25% off. So there you go. Get an extra cheeky 10% off by using Jan Sale at checkout. But yeah, amazing company. Brilliant quality cards. You're not going to find a better company than this if you want physical cards for a gift for yourself or your loved ones or your kids, whatever. So check them out. Support the guys. Follow them on Twitter. All that good stuff. Luke says, all right, guys, how's it going? It's going very good, mate. It's definitely gone a lot worse over the last year for us doing these shows. So we can't complain about much at all. And Alfred says, how long is Salah out? Now, I don't know if you've seen the news that just come out from Mohamed Salah's agent. He said that it's looking like, I think he said up to a month.
21 to 28 days.
Yeah, so we'll get into Salah. We'll definitely talk about him a bit later on, but I don't think we did too badly without him yesterday, I must say. Let's get straight into it then, Mike. I'm going to come to you straight away. Looking at this lineup, this is how we always start the shows. Is this the question I've got to ask you, mate? Is this the best of what we have at the minute?
Yeah, for me it is. I know some people wanted to see Elliott on the right potentially, but I think that's the best we could put out. There's always the argument to be made. Could you put Gakpo in there maybe for Diaz or Nunez, who are both coming into this game somewhat on a questionable bit of form, at least in front of goal. But I think it was the right lineup for the game. Tactically, first half, there's questions about that we can obviously talk about. But in terms of lineup, yeah, listen, I think that was the best we could put out. Definitely.
Same for you, Craig. Confident when you see this?
Well, I won't say confident because it was nothing to do with the team selection. Just the situation that we're in. So stormy weather. When I saw the forecast, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be a week of Klopp or the opposition fans giving out about Klopp and weather. So Thankfully, we got the win and we didn't have to hear any of that afterwards. But yeah, no, obviously a little bit apprehensive going into it with the amount of players are missing. I was actually happy to see Elliott in midfield as well, because while I guess the idea of playing him out in the right wing, I don't think he is going to be our winger going forward. So it's more suited him in midfield. I obviously struggled a little bit, but he definitely showed why we put him in there as well. He adds something different. So I was delighted to see him get going.
Yeah, and I kind of agreed with what you were saying just a minute ago there, Craig. I wasn't exactly confident, and I was telling people this is going to be a hard game, and I think it did show that in the first half as to exactly why me and you maybe thought that. It took us a long time to get into it. The lineup for me was, I think it was the best of what we have available right now for sure. Really good to see McAllister and Jota back in there. Both have had their injury problems over the last few weeks. So really good to see those guys starting, both of them exceptionally. And Mike, I'm going to let you speak on McAllister later on. Don't you worry about that.
Right.
But yeah, I think that team was the best we had. Best centre-back pairing. We've got Gomez doing an absolute job right now, and I'll speak on him a bit later on. Bradley coming in, not looking out of place. The midfield free. I don't think Elliott had a great game, to be honest, yesterday. I think he struggled a bit to get into it with the physicality side of things, and not even just the physicality side of things. I think some of his passes was a bit wayward and a bit off. But tough game for everyone, especially in the first half. So we will get on to individuals in just a moment. But Mike, first 45 minutes comes and goes, mate. We do struggle to get into it. We do struggle to create openings. Bournemouth are getting confidence, and it did seem a bit chippy, a bit all over the place. And I wasn't exactly concerned that we wouldn't win the game, because at the end of the day, half-time, 0-0, when this Liverpool team goes into the break at 0-0, even if we're 1-0 down, I think we're all on the same page thinking, you know what, we're still in this game, we'll win it.
Yeah.
But yesterday, why do you think we struggled a bit in the first 45 minutes, mate?
Well, listen, it's a combination of a couple of different things. I think first and foremost, I mentioned this in the build-up. Credit, big up, bro. But credit where it's due. I think Bournemouth pressed fantastically well off the ball. I think they set up very well for teams to try and play out from the back. And that's first 5 to 15 minutes. You've seen that especially. However, we didn't help ourselves, and Klopp mentioned it in his press conference. Jones, for example, there are a couple of moments where Jones was picking up the ball deep, but he was going short when he should have gone long, and he was going long when he should have gone short, and so was the case for Elliott on the other side, as well as the fullbacks. What didn't help us, I felt, was there wasn't too much movement on the flanks. Nunez wasn't dropping in to receive the ball enough. Gomez wasn't pushing forward. Again, same on the right-hand side as well. Bradley, you can put it down to, just inexperience to sort of adapting to the game. But there was just a bit of, people were stagnant, people were stagnant, and it's not something you usually associate with us. However, thankfully, we had McAllister in midfield, who I thought added in much needed bit of composure to get us through some very rough moments. Konate and Van Dijk, absolutely brilliant pairing. I think they're really developing into a very, very, very solid partnership now. And as long as Konate stays fit, that is a stunning defensive duo to have in front of Alisson. So I think those three, that triangle of McAllister, Konate and Van Dijk, got us through that first half, because I think the rest weren't up to par, or at least weren't able to sort of impact the game as they should. When we were composed on the ball, we played through the line really well, because Cliver wasn't tracking back. Christie was going wide to cover Elliott. So it was pretty much Cook versus Jota, McAllister and Jones every time we were pushing into the box and around that area. But we weren't making enough happen. But that's when tactical tweaks were made at half-time, which of course we'll come on to. But so that's kind of how, one of the reasons, and a couple of the reasons why it wasn't really working in the first half.
Yeah, I think spot on. And Craig, do you have anything to add to that? It was just a bit, we didn't really seem too much, too many opportunities for us to create. And like Mike said, I think it was just a bit stale, and there was a bit of, it was a bit flat, really, wasn't it? And look, we all know that this Liverpool team at some point is going to explode, and they are going to burst into life. But it just took a bit of a long time to get to that point, didn't it?
Exactly. No, like there was no urgency like when we had the ball, and just even there was, again, Klopp had said it himself, there was no rhythm when we were trying to get past and go and get the like link teams in together. Just weren't on the same wavelengths. We were, as Mike said earlier on, trying to force things a bit too early. or the opposite, like slowing it down at the wrong times as well. So like these, you could just see there was just none of it was going right, but it wasn't going that wrong either. You know what? Which was the like the core lads in defence helped us massively there, and I think that's probably one of the more impressive things for me as well, is that we can start games slowly. We can have slow periods in games where we might not be killing it with the ball, but we are solid defensively. And again, I think the biggest issue for us so far this season hasn't been our defense. We've been solid. It's been when we've been losing the ball in dangerous positions, and that's when we put ourselves at the most risk. So while we weren't at our best in the first half, we weren't playing any suicide passes either, and getting ourselves into a bit more trouble. And credit to Bournemouth as well. They actually, they did knock the ball around quite well.
Yeah.
We just left too big of the pitch to get the ball back off them, I thought, in the first half anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you mentioned rhythm, and I think that's a good point that I hadn't really thought about, because at the end of the day, this was our first game back. So I think you're right. I think it was always going to take a bit of time to get into it and the conditions, and people will laugh at those kind of things. But Klopp he often speaks about them even when we win. So, he's not using it as an excuse. But yeah, with all of those combinations and then players missing, it was always going to take a long time to settle into this game. But I think the main point was we settled in the end, and yes, it took until second half, but better late than never, isn't it? And there is one more thing I need to discuss in the first half, because I want to get your two's opinions on it. It's the Justin Kluivert stamp on Luis. Was it Luis Diaz he stamped on?
Yeah.
Red card for you, or should it have been at least acknowledged a bit more, Mike? I know you have a lot to say about officiating, so yeah, I'll come to you first, mate. Usually you disagreement with me when I call it corruption and cheats.
Yeah. Well, I stand on the fact that I don't think it's corruption. I just think it's blatant incompetence.
Of course, it's not corruption. We just have a laugh.
I'm here to just be your counterbalance.
Sorry to interrupt there. There is a case in point with Paul Tierney, though.
I would agree with that.
Check out Tompkin Times.
Yeah,
Mike, check out Tompkin Times. He has done a deep dive analysis on the decision making that Tierney does for us.
I have seen either clips of that, or I've definitely seen excerpts of his decisions against us. Paul Tierney's an interesting case, and I think there is something very confusing about the consistencies that we have with him, and specifically between him and Klopp. I don't think it's between him and Liverpool. That's what I will say. I don't think it's between him and the club, but there's definitely an issue between him and Klopp, and whether that is leaking into decisions or not, I don't speculate that. I do believe, unfortunately, Tierney has shown he's very incompetent at times when officiating our games. I'll say that. Do I think it was a red card? Ben, what are you going to say?
Just before you get into whether you think it's a red card or not, Mike, if a referee, if what you're saying is true, and obviously it's speculation, it's your opinion.
Speculation.
If he's got something against Klopp, should he be fit to referee in a division where Jurgen Klopp is a manager?
I think the argument that would be made is personal opinions and personal biases are always put aside when officiating at this level. That's the argument that would be made. And also they'd probably make the argument that, the training they go through is rigorous, and, there are no biases in their decisions. And no referee should be excluded from refereeing certain games unless a clear bias is there. That would be the argument made. I think come the end of the season, considering what has occurred between Tierney and Klopp, both outwardly Klopp has said things about Tierney, it will be interesting to see what the club do, because I could imagine going into next season, potentially there could be an inquiry, or there could be at least a request to lessen the amount of games Tierney has involvement in with Liverpool. They most likely would dismiss that anyway, but that's all hearsay, isn't it? But in terms of the red card, I thought it was an orange. I thought it was an orange, which of course is what I'm going to say. But I'm not saying that just to argue with the pair here. I do think it's an orange, because I think after giving Jones a red, which wasn't a red, that's the argument. That's the argument, right? And I'm right there with you. Since then, every similar one that I've seen to that has been given a yellow when seen, or has been VAR reviewed when not seen and not given a red. So because of that consistency since Jones, they shouldn't change the refereeing structure mid-season. I think that is wrong. But I think they know they got the Jones one wrong. So to reset the precedent, it looks like they are now going with the consistency of that is an orange, where it's not malicious intent, but it is severely ill-timed. I don't agree with it personally.
Can I jump in on that, Mike? And
Go on.
the only issue, and this is where everyone will jump back to the PL, and that it's changing your mind after the Jones one, and we can all say that we don't think that was a red card at the time, so they changed their mind. But the counterpoint to that is they still gave him a 3-week ban.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm in agreement. So let's. I don't want anything being misconstrued. Nunez is right. I'm of a similar thought. If it is a tackle that appears to be a red card in terms of causing injury, right? Dangerous play. I am one to give a red card. So I want to make it clear. I think it should be a red under how I view the game. However, how the refs have officiated the game this season since the Spurs game, I was not surprised that it wasn't given. So does that make sense? So I think it should have been a red.
I get you.
Yeah, the consistent inconsistency that I have seen from the PGMOL told me right away they were not going to give a red for that. So I wasn't surprised when it wasn't given. That's what I'll say.
No, from my point of view on the whole thing is that they had, and I agree with you. I don't think
the McAllister one. Now we're being petty because that was really yellow. Go on.
I don't think the Joneses was a red card purely by the fact, just the way football is played. It was an accident. He actually got the ball first, and that's similar to what Kluivert did as well. I actually don't want that to be a red card, because you want people to go in for 50-50 tackles. And if the ball's in the air, you don't want them to pull out. But where they dropped the ball is they should have rescinded or taken away the ban afterwards. And that's where they really dropped the ball. Because you can make mistakes. There can be inconsistencies. But when you have hindsight afterwards, to then, to not follow through on it, or to follow through on it when you're slightly wrong, and then to change your mind after again, that's the issue that I'm most concerned about.
I think as well for me, it feels like, it just feels like it's been all us. And look, I don't watch every single game, every other team. I hold my hands up to that. But it does seem like we've had a very large amount of the unfair decisions go against us this season. I think anybody would agree with that. So I feel like when you're seeing these challenges in real time and you're seeing Kluivert, do that, you're hoping, okay, are we going to get a bit of justice here? Is it going to balance itself out? And it never really seems to do that. It seems like we've been punished a lot of times. The Luis Diaz goal against Spurs, the McAllister tackle that's on the screen now, the Curtis Jones one.
You could argue
go on and on and on.
Van Dijk one, but
VVD against Newcastle, of course, and it just feels like we never get the other side. People say it balances itself out, but does it really, Mike?
I think it does. So I promise you, I don't do this for the sake of doing it. Right?
I'm saying the referee calls. I'm certain Mike's coming. Mike's going to be referee soon or something. But
I promise you, we don't have a group chat where it's like, all right, I'll disagree with these opinions today for the sake of conversation. But I'll say is maybe balancing out is an incorrect thing, but in terms of being hard done by, I try and watch as much football as I am, as I can. So I'll always watch the 12:30 kickoff, watch the late kickoff. I'll find a stream for 3 o'clock. I will watch football as much as I can. Can you believe it? Oh, hey, yeah. I don't know how I don't know what you mean stream. I find a completely legal way of watching every game. Of course,
move to Ireland, lads. All the 3 o'clocks are on.
I live in Ireland. What? That's why I can watch them legally. But the point is, what I'm saying is, the most hard done by team this season for VAR is Wolves, hands down. I don't think that should be argued. I think anyone that has sort of been up to date with Wolves should have had a 10-point. They've had a 10-point deduction via the PGMOL, pretty much. It's genuinely incredible how hard done by Wolves have been, and it's an incredible feat for them to be where they are currently. If you ever get a chance, go look at what Wolves, the amount of decisions specifically in that first half of the season up till December that went against them. It's genuinely ridiculous. I was going to say that Palace are another side that have been hard done by this season with decisions. Liverpool, yes, we've been hard done by as well. Everton are another side that have been really hard done by. And this is why I say it's incompetence and not corruption. Or, you can say, oh, well, Turney's got a thing for us. If you look at Turney's decisions across the board, Wolves have a bone to pick with Turney as well, which is why I lean to incompetence. So it is a frustration without a doubt. Does it balance out? I think it does, in a sense that you look at the City game, a goal they scored, I believe was a legitimate goal, got pulled off for a foul on Alisson, which was a very questionable foul. Do we want to cast our mind back to it? Do we remember?
The foul on Alisson. Any foul on a goalkeeper? Wait, no, I'm thinking of the one where they scored.
So when they scored against us, if we remember,
no, that's a foul. When he hit his arm.
Hit his arm's that's what we keep saying. I wouldn't say he hit his arm. I think he brushed his arm. And I think if you look at the consistency of fouls on keepers this season, I've seen things be allowed for a lot worse. So there are moments like that in games where, listen, we're all looking back now, itching our chin, like, I don't know. City fans watch that and they will go,
Odegaard handball. We forgot about the Odegaard handball.
Yeah, and the Odegaard, yeah, listen, exactly. So yeah, again, I'm with you there. But it's just incompetence by the referees. If it comes out in 5 to 10 years that it's corruption, I'll hold my hands up and go, "Wow, I had far too much faith in the system." Fair enough, and I'll be with you. I'll be there I'll be there in the picket line. But like, it's an embarrassment. You know what I mean? It's an embarrassment from the PGMOL this season. I'm very fascinated what occurs this summer because I think there needs to be the biggest evolution in terms of officiating the Premier League that we've ever seen, and I'm curious to see if they take that on.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that was a good conversation because I am the first to scream corruption and cheats, and that's how I feel sometimes. When I was at the Arsenal game and you literally see Odegaard, he literally holds the ball for half a second, and it's like, how have you not spotted that? That can't be anything more than corruption. But I hear what you're saying, Mike. I think it is a level of incompetence. I just feel like if this carries on, they have to be graded. They have to have some sort of report at the end of the season. And Tierney, if he's not done his job well, if I don't do my job well, I don't have a job in the morning. You know what I mean? I'm out of a job. And these referees, they can just keep going year in, year out, and nothing seems to change. So we will move on because I don't want this to be a PG. Maybe that's another stream we could do one day.
I will happily say it. Yeah.
You know what, Mike? You can host it. PGMOL stream. In fact, we'll try to get an ex-referee on. I don't know if there's any out there, but if there is,
get your man Tompkins on. He's gone into it in so much depth in how the big decisions go against us. So, like what you're saying there, Mike, in terms of evening it out and Wolves and Crystal Palace and all that, lower teams statistically are going to have less decisions go in their favor. Just the way things go, the way pressure in matches are, that like big decisions, a referee is going to favor a bigger team, and that has been proven by stats over
but then
time.
the argument could be, and I'm not saying this would be the argument, but I'd love to see the home and away moments in where these stats pull from, because then you could argue bigger teams for the most part have a bigger pull, a bigger audience. The crowd pressure, are they crippling to the pressure of it?
Actually, sorry, I'll end it on this one. It's a really interesting one. So Manchester referees, Greater Manchester referees, they are more likely to give a decision in Liverpool's favour in Manchester when they're away, and the opposite when they try to balance what their perceived bias, basically. So like when you think that the Manchester referee isn't going to give thing, is like no, I'm giving it to them here.
It's almost like an overcorrection in a way.
He's almost trying hard to show he's not biased, if anything.
Exactly, and then he goes completely the other way around.
That is interesting. I mean, listen, if we got him on and someone who was a qualified referee at a decent level, then I think that's a good debate, because then you've got both sides of the argument. So, and I'll happily host that. You know what I mean?
That's a good read.
Well, there we are, 25 minutes in, and we've only got to the climate stab. So this could be a long one, guys. Second half comes then, Mike. I think we're all pretty confident. Again, I use that word confident. Was we confident? I was pretty sure we'd get at least one goal in the second half, and all we needed to do was to just sharpen up a bit, keep the ball a bit more, and take our chances and be patient. I think, because I think that's the most important thing with these teams like Bournemouth. I think they're a decent side, but you've just got to be patient. And we were. Canate gets the ball, knocks it long. Curtis Jones, absolute sensational football player, by the way. Great chest control. Gives it to Jota, who plays it across the box. Nunez places it home. Such an important goal, not only for this game, Mike, but also Darwin Nunez, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Like, I think the tactical. So you hear a lot in recent weeks about Darwin playing off the left and how that should be the way going forward. The switch we made at half time was moving Diaz to the left, Nunez down the middle, and Jota playing inside on the right to allow Bradley to just completely dominate the width. And what that allowed was, I was talking before about how we had those almost like 3v1s against Cook, but weren't taking advantage of it. Now the 3v1 against Cook was Jota, Nunez, Jones was the 3. And what that allowed was Nunez is always going in behind. He's stretching the defence, creates space for Jota on the edge of the box. And Curtis Jones obviously could just do what Jones did. And that's why Gakpo ended up occupying when he came on. He kind of played into that area as well. But it was a great tactical switch. And this is what I mean about in-game management with Klopp that I've been preaching recently. It's been absolutely fantastic. And it's what's won his games. So by doing that, as I say, Nunez gets into that position. Instinctive finish, which I think we all agree is his better asset when it comes to being in front of goal. The less time to think, the better. And that's not disrespect. It's just I think he's an instinctive finisher. It was a good finish. Defensively, Bournemouth will be questioning themselves how all 3 of those players got the amount of space they did. In every single moment, not enough press on Jones. Jota had a bit too much time, etc. But again, I thought it was really good. It was a really good goal. Great way to start the half. And I think I was surprised how much that affected Bournemouth because I expected Bournemouth to come back on us, but it really seemed to shatter their confidence. And I think that's where the lack of rhythm from the break maybe caught them. Because both sides were lacking rhythm in moments, but Bournemouth really seemed rattled after that goal. I don't know what you thought, Craig.
No, they were gone. That was the thing. But you could say, our players lifted up 2 feet taller as well afterwards, which is a big thing. And when we're confident, you could put a bit of PTSD into. But even though it was the other way around, it was at Anfield last year. But at the same time, this Bournemouth team did concede 9 goals against Liverpool team last year at one of our worst points. So you can see why mentally they could break down quite quickly once it happened. And it was effortless. The goal was effortless, and that's what kills teams. Is they really played well in the first half, built up some decent half chances, and they just didn't take their shots early enough and that type of thing. All that work, and it just takes one long ball, one touch, go. And that's what we were like then in the second half, just comfortable on the ball. McAllister was just pulling strings around the place. And it was a joy. It was a joy to watch. We were back to ourselves, and you're kind of going. There's no Trent. There's no Salah. We can spend half the podcast.
Yeah,
so, right. Good signs.
I completely agree. I think the main thing that we all said when Salah, when we initially thought he was just going for AFCON, now we obviously know it's a bit more than that. But we all said these guys just all need to chip in, and I'm not getting too ahead of it because we've got to speak about Jota in a moment. But all of them yesterday, even when Gakpo came on, he was brilliant. I thought yesterday, every single one of them yesterday put in a shift, and Darwin got 2 goals, Diogo got 2 goals, Darwin got an assist. I think Gakpo probably gets an assist. I think he's just one of them. They all did amazing, and I think that's what it's got to be now. Whilst we don't have Salah, Salah's going to get you 30 goals every season, of course. But when he's injured or when he's away of his country, or lo and behold, in 3 or 4 years' time, if he signs a deal, when he goes, there's not going to be another Mo Salah. There won't be. He is a once-in-a-lifetime player, so you have to adapt and you have to think of solutions how you can get on without Mo Salah. And I think yesterday that's exactly what we did, and it just seems so simple. I think a lot of the time this season we've tried to overcomplicate it. Darwin Nunez has almost tried to walk the ball into the back of the net at times, and sometimes he's got a chance and you want him to shoot. Sometimes he shoots and you don't want him to shoot. Sometimes he swings first time and completely misses the ball. And I think you're right, Mike. I think when it just sets up for him so perfectly like that, there was one the other week as well. Was it who did play the other when he scored the first time one from outside the box? I can't remember who it was. Was it?
Oh, I know what you. Yeah, Burnley.
Burnley, that was it. It was Burnley. Just goals like that. I think they're the ones where you want him in those positions, and he's really good yesterday. Not just his goal scoring. Every single thing about his game, he's improved this season. That's what we've said all season long. The only problem is he's not been putting that ball into the back of the net consistently. Now, I remember he scored 2 goals against Newcastle. It was an amazing day. And I thought, right, he's going to kick on now. He's going to go get 20, 25 goals. No problem. The way he's playing now, it's easily going to happen. I don't want to be in that position again. I'm going to praise him. He deserves it. I'm a big Darwin Nunez fan. This time I'm not going to go overboard because I want to see him do it again. And I want to see him do it again. And I know he can do it because he did it yesterday. And he's done it. He's done it last season. He's done it this season. We just need to see it consistently now. His performances have been consistent. He has been good. He has been unlucky at times. But then again, sometimes he hasn't been unlucky and his shooting's just been crap. So I just want to see more from Darwin Nunez. I want to see this consistently because I know he can get that 20-25 goals. He's
go on.
He's now, Mike. He could be on that now, the amount of chances he's had. But he's on 10. It's a great start. He's got 10 assists as well. Now he needs to kick on, doesn't he?
The thing is, that people are kind of forgetting, if Nunez scored all of his chances, he would be the best player in the league.
Yeah.
Right. Craig, I hate that. You want to know why I hate that? Because I could have said that for so many different strikers that are average. If they had scored their chances, they'd be great. We're not doing this, Craig. You're a smart lad.
But he's got a point because
I've got to say, sorry, I'll take over, just because he's created these chances and he's not missing them by a mile. He's not we're talking about, we know what they're like. A few are unlucky, a few he didn't hit it in the right spot. Like he's should have passed it in like he did today. Yeah. But he's getting those chances. No other player is a magnet to like he is. So like this is the thing is if you add in, and this is what we're all asking for him to be consistent finishing wise. If he does become consistent finishing wise, we're talking about one of the best players in the league outside of De Bruyne, and he's up there with Haaland. Yeah. But he's not. He's not. So we're not having this. I'm not saying he is the best player in the league, Mike. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he does those things, he would be, and that there's no question.
Great. I'll put this back to you, right? So again, I'm in the camp with you. I just love arguing with you, and I've missed arguing with you. I genuinely have. You're fun to
I know,
come on, it's fun. That's why you won't go away for so long. You come away, you have to decompress.
Just had to let you go. Oh, see, gone.
See, wow, I literally went. That was really good timing. But with the Darwin Nunez thing, I'm fine to give him praise. I'm fine to give him whatever he needs. But after the performance that I watched yesterday, I don't think he should be the striker we're talking about. Because the striker we should be talking about is Jota. Because without Jota, that game doesn't happen. Without Jota, if you take Jota out this side, I don't think Nunez even gets those chances. But it's what frustrates me a little bit, and you see it with Nunez, and I do love Nunez. Nunez will miss a sitter. The crowd will chant Nunez. Gakpo will score the winner in a game. The crowd chant Nunez. I get it, but it's frustrating because he's a good player. He's given a lot. I'm not someone who hates Nunez. And I do think if it clicks and he does find that form in front of goal consistently, boy, we've got a very, very special player. But we don't need to wait for that. We should be praising the ones that he's clicking for. So when Jota's scoring the way he is...
Speaking of that, do you want to take Jota's first goal?
I'd love to. No, I want to hear Craig's thoughts on Jota as well, but Jota is the best finisher at the club, probably just behind Salah. I'd even say he's probably more natural finisher than Salah.
He's a better finisher than Salah, naturally.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I think he's just such a natural finisher. I seen Carragher talking after the game, and he said some things where maybe I'm too young for me. I think that in terms of natural finishing, I think he is.
I think natural is the word to go for there, because it's a strike. He can strike it one way, whereas you've got Salah who can bend it, can fucking smash it. Excuse me. They're better strikers of the ball. They're better finishers because they've got more types of finishing to them. Where like Jota has a natural finisher instinct, in around the box poacher. 100% the best.
100%. It's like when I look at like Fowler or like a Shearer, or Shearer's obviously very top level, but what I mean, or like a Lineker, like a fox in the box kind of player, right? It's a different type of finisher. Suarez could score spectacular goals. It's rare you would see Suarez just pop up in the right place and finish really accurately. All his goals had a personality to them.
No, I disagree with that one.
But for Suarez to just turn up at the back post and tap it in, out of his 32 goals.
He did a lot of that. I think there was headers, like scrappy headers and everything too.
He scored a 20-yard header. I remember that. That was ridiculous.
Those are the ones permanently in his highlight reel. But
let's talk about Jota.
But just talking about Jota, I just think a very special finisher. I've seen Carragher comparing him to Fowler, Owen and Suarez. I think he is in that conversation no matter what. He's in the conversation just in terms of natural finisher for us. And he's just a funny player. I think he does know how to celebrate a goal, which is great. He sometimes doesn't look like he's even playing football. He just sort of runs about. He's got a weird first touch, but you put him in the box and he's lethal. But best finisher in the Haaland plays in the Premier League, brother. But like, yeah, maybe top 3. Do you guys agree with that statement?
Yeah. But let's just talk about his goal real quick, and then we'll go on to the finishing. Mike, I mean, in fact, we'll let Craig do it. Mike, you've spoken too much.
I have. Don't Craig.
So this second goal, mate, is not up to Nunez, who just sort of bulldozes the defender out the way, like as if he wasn't even there. He's just way too strong. And then Gakpo just plays it into him. And that finish to just lever it in at the near post like that. When we're talking about Diogo Jota's finishing, those are the exact strikes that we're talking about, aren't they? I mean, he just hits it so cleanly into the near post, and that's the game win, in my opinion, at that point.
It's I think the great thing about Jota and the finishing there is obviously the accuracy is obviously one thing, but it's how quick he takes the shot off. He gets it off early, and he kind of has the keeper maybe on the wrong footing because of when he's taking a shot. He's not like with Nunez. His problem could be you can see him lining up the shot or where he's going to go maybe a couple of seconds beforehand. Whereas a Jota, he's just running. You have no idea when that ball is going to be released from his foot, and like that is one of the key things that gives him this advantage. But I've spoken about Jota a few times on this now, and I'll go back and say it again. He's so intelligent. Like he can. This one thing why I like him coming off the bench in a way is because I think he has a chance to study the game and kind of see these gaps, and he will find those gaps and tell what players to do it. Because I just feel like he's playing FIFA with Liverpool, he can actually kind of control the players. He's in career mode, but so like that's just obviously a joke, but at the same time, he has been looking amazing coming off the bench, and we do. You can see why the other forwards can start over him because they bring, I suppose, maybe a bit more on the ball. Like us things, Jota finishing chances is unbelievable. But like not to jump onto the next goal, but like that is Jota, the second goal, Jota in a nutshell. Like that goal couldn't have described Jota better. It's like he scuffs a shot because he does, and this is why when someone says he's the best finisher, I have to kind of like a little bit. Yes, I see it, but he scuffs a lot of balls. He scuffs a lot of shots, but sometimes he scores the scuff shots too, which is the other thing because they're just he's as I said, he's taking that shot early. He's taking it when the keeper's not ready, so they don't always have to be perfectly struck to go in with the way he does it. But yeah, he can both goals were really well taken when he did strike the ball, but I just had to laugh. Like that is, we've seen Jota do that so many times. You can get so frustrated with him, you shouting, "Get that guy off the pitch," and then he'll pop up with 2 goals afterwards.
I think as well, Mike Craig spoke about his intelligence there, and I think to just have that instinct, he's messed it up. Like some strikers will probably put their hands on their heads and walk away from it, but he just knew that, okay, I've screwed up, the chance isn't gone, and he gets there before the defender. No, even the Bournemouth fans, by the way, were like, "Hooray!" And then before they've even finished, jeering at him, the ball's in the back of the net again.
Yeah, he's just a special finisher. I think it's that just to be able to recompose himself, if that's a phrase.
Well, you've just made it a phrase.
Oh, look, I've coined it here. But no, the way he's done that is brilliant. It really is, and just takes that deep breath and he finishes it brilliant. I keep saying the word brilliant because I don't know what are the superlatives to use at this time of night, but just brilliant. It works. Yeah. No.
It's actually a word. Yeah.
Fantastic. I knew my master's degree in literature was worth the 80 grand a day. But yeah, no, it's
gonna mix it into the next rap now somehow.
Yeah, there you go. We'll somehow throw it in there. Now I know. Yeah, no, listen, it is a great finish. Jota's all-round game yesterday was really good. I thought his pressing off the ball, his work, it was just genuinely fantastic. And him getting 2 goals, Jota getting 2 goals. Sorry, Nunez getting 2 goals and Gakpo getting an assist. It's just all-round great for the front line, I thought.
Absolutely. The fourth goal. Actually, no, before I get onto the fourth goal, Conor Bradley, assist. Well done, mate. Not the best assist you'll probably ever get in your career, but he did get the assist, and that's all that matters. The fourth goal, Joe Gomez, unbelievable cross into Darwin Nunez at the back post, who all he had to do really was get a touch on the ball. But that's not... Well, do you disagree with that?
No, you're...
I thought that was like considering what he did and where he put the ball, that was actually quite an incredibly hard chance.
Fair enough. Maybe I've done him some injustice there.
I was going to say, I thought it was a top finish, to be fair.
Yeah.
He absolutely nailed it, to be fair.
I thought that was unbelievable finish. Yeah, delicate as anything.
Delicate, yeah.
I think the reason why I said that is because I've seen that ball into him so many times, and it just does feel like a lot of the time, because the deliveries have been amazing, whether it be from Trent or Szoboszlai or anyone, it just feels like all he literally has to do is hit the ball. Maybe this one I wasn't right on, but I think the ball from Joe Gomez, first of all, I'm going to speak on him because I've said it so many times in these shows. I think he is by an absolute country mile the most improved player in the squad from last season. People will say Curtis Jones. No, Curtis Jones has been incredible this season. He was also incredible for the last 10, 15 games last season as well. So when we're talking about most improved players, I'm not talking about players that were really good in spells last season, because let's be honest, Joe Gomez wasn't. Most times when Joe Gomez played, we were on here saying how poorly he's been, and potentially if a big offer came in the summer, would we move him on? Those were the questions that were being asked last summer. But I'll eat humble pie when I'm wrong. I'd say if you can get 40 million for him in the summer, maybe there's a conversation to be had. I said it on the space after the game yesterday. Had we sold Joe Gomez in the summer, we'd be screwed right now. We'd be using Owen Beck, and look, Beck seems to be a really good prospect. No disrespect to him at all, but we are in a title race, Mike. You're just gonna have to accept that. We are going for all these other trophies. We need these seasoned pros, and that's exactly what Joe Gomez is now. He came in as a young boy, developed really well, went a bit off it last season, but obviously he's had his injuries as well, which has been a big part of that. But this season, something's just clicked in him, and it just seems like he's found himself again in this new role, which he's not put a single foot wrong defensively on the ball, which is something that's always been questioned of him. He's just been a joy to watch, and that assist yesterday, Darwin Nunez finish, Mike, it was for both of them. It was a really nice goal, wasn't it?
No, it was. Listen. There's no other word I can figure out to use today, so I use it one more time. But yeah, it's brilliant. But no, it's a great ball by Gomez. I think it was just, as I say, like there's not much more to say on it really. I thought it was a very precise finish. I think that is something I look at and I go, maybe he's more unlucky than I give him credit for sometimes. Because if let's say that is an intentional finish, which I believe it was, I think Craig and I believe that was an intentional finish the way he's placed it. If that goes like half a yard to the right and it hits the post and comes back out, we sit here and go, he's missed a sitter. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is the way the season's been for him a lot this year, where it has been that half a yard difference, and it's just been a case of that's how unlucky he's been. But listen, it's another great finish, 4-0. You got 3 points on the board. A couple of the young lads came on, which I thought played really well as well. Clark and the left back, that's just names just come back. Thank you. Both came on, played really well. So yeah,
Ian Rush's nephew as well. Owen Beck.
Yeah, he's Ian Rush's nephew. Yeah.
So we'll see how he gets on. But he looks steady. He looks like a good little player, and we are going to finish talking about the young boys in a little bit. We just got a couple of things more to discuss. I'm going to briefly talk about the academy. Just before we move on, I'm going to let you both pick a player that you want to talk about. I already know Mike, so just hold fire for a minute. Craig, is there anyone there that we've not spoken about really that you think really deserves a mention for the game yesterday? I've got mine, but I'll let you two go first.
Oh, well, Kanate, McAllister.
Here we go.
All fantastic. I'll say the names. You guys can do the talking now.
No, Craig, I want to hear you talk about a player. You can talk about McAllister if you want.
No, I don't. No, I'll let you. You obviously, I remember you have some things about McAllister you want to get off your chest, or pat yourself on the back. I'm not sure which one it is.
Might be a there you go. Yeah, well, go on, Craig.
No, I'll talk about Kanate because I'll put my hand up and say I can at times be his biggest critic, because I think there is these popular players in the squad that kind of they can be forgiven a bit more easily, and I think for Kanate has been in that bracket because he's a showstopper. He's Hollywood, and when he's on form or when he bosses a centre forward, it's very evident and it's brilliant to see. But then we can kind of mask over some of his distribution, some decision making, silly fouls, that type of thing, which has put us into as an example. After we drew at Arsenal, Kanate had an amazing game, but nobody mentioned that he was what was at fault for our goal. So the one goal we conceded, why we didn't drop 2 points. Konate was actually at fault for the free kick and the goal as well. So this is something, but I have to say now he was absolutely he didn't put a foot wrong the other day, and I'm more concerned about him outside of the injuries as well, because I've told you guys this before. I'm a massive Matip fan, so I was always really like, yeah, if he's starting over Matip, that means he's there on merit and he deserves it, and that's a good sign. But if thankfully he's picked up his form at the same time, and it's not a case of he's being played just because we have no other options. But obviously Gomez is playing too, so you can say he's there on merit, and Kwanzaa as well. But yeah, he was absolutely amazing, and like those big tackles, those last ditch tackles, they just there's something about them, because the way Van Dijk defends, you don't see that, and you can kind of have to kind of talk about what his aura and just kind of intelligence. But with Konate, it's a lot more obvious. You can just say, no, that was an amazing tackle. He bullied that boy there. So yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll just touch on Konate real quick, and then Mike can wrap up on him. But I think he's brilliant. And you mentioned Matip there. I miss Matip as well, because I thought he was doing incredible up until his season-ending injury. But I think since that point, I do think Konate's gone to another level. And I know he's made a couple of mistakes along the way, but I think you can really see how close he's been working with Virgil. And I did a tweet on TAT the other day. It was a Klopp press conference. They asked him about Konate, and he just sort of like brushed it off and said, "That's just what I expect from him." Like, and I think some people read into that wrongly and thought, "Wait, why is he not praising him?" But the way he said it, if you watch the video, because I think that's always important when you watch Klopp. People read Klopp quotes and think like he's just being an idiot, like he's not being nice. You could see the way he said it. The reason why he acted like that is because he knows that if he gets like, oh yeah, Konate's made it, like Konate's the best young centre back there is, that could affect him mentally. He just wants him to keep going, and he knows he's not the finished product yet, and that for me is the scary part. So I think Klopp's going to be reserved about him in the public, but secretly, behind closed doors in the training ground, he's going to tell him how good he is. Of course he is. So I think that's the important part. This is a project. This is a long-term project, because Virgil van Dijk, no matter how good he is, he's not going to last forever, and we all wish he could, but he's a human being, and at some stage, he is going to have to go. And when that happens, we're going to have to be in the right situation to think, okay, we're not going to go spend 100 million on the centre-back now, because that would be a panic buy. How can we be best equipped? And that, for me, is to get Ibu Konate. He's never going to be Van Dijk level. I'll just be as brutally honest. Nobody will be. He's the best we'll ever see at the club. But he's going to be as close to him as we could possibly get him. And I do think on the ball, he's improved absolutely massively since he first came in. I think his concentration, again, has gone up levels, and his positioning and his defensive awareness, all those kind of things. Especially in this run, like I say, since Matip's been out of the team, I think he's just took it on himself to go to another level. And yeah, he's been really good. The only problem is, like you said, Craig, he has got a bad injury record, but touch wood, he's fit now. And Mike, that's all that matters, isn't it, as we speak?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that, of course, matters is, Alexis McAllister is our best summer signing, which is what I've been saying for. In the art of point scoring, Ben, I
still think it's Endo.
But I'm now going to do it because
sorry. On that point, I was the only one of us that wanted Matip to stay in the summer.
You were? No, actually, yeah. Actually, while we're all scoring, Ben was right about Nunez. Craig was right about Matip. And I'm right about McAllister. So
I still think Endo's the best summer signing.
No, hold on, Ben. I don't want to call you out like this, but there is definitely a pod recorded out there, and I remember it because we had the chat where you were saying, I don't think Endo's it. And it was after, I think it was the second performance. Yes.
Go find it.
Find it. It was just after his second performance. We both sat there. It wasn't a good, I think it was not the Newcastle game, but we did say something in there where it's like...
Did I write him off, though?
You didn't write him off, but you did say he's not the player we need. I don't know.
I'll have to go back and watch it and find it word for word.
It's like a Klopp quote. It's about, I can't take it out of context. You got to watch the video.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but listen, I do believe Alexis McAllister was our best signing in the summer. I really do believe that, and I think he's been our best midfielder this season. He's so important. Klopp said in his post-match interview, and I'll say this, I'll try and keep it brief as I can. Klopp said in his post-match interview when he was asked about signing the six, he said McAllister he never played in the lone six before he joined us, but he is a perfect lone six. Find me a six that can pass the way he passes, that can break up play the way he does, right? And then try and find me a six that can play on his own when the defense isn't compact, that plays brilliantly. Maybe there's two out there in the world, who knows? It's very clear that McAllister is our six. People keep talking, we need to go sign a number six. McAllister is on number six. The players are commenting on Instagram that he's on number six. It's very apparent where he is. And he said in conferences himself that he enjoys playing the role. I think it allows him time on the ball. He gets to pick his head up. He dictates the game. He is a modern day Xabi Alonso in a way, the way he can play the game. I think we're absolutely blessed. People keep talking about, I want Thiago back. We are watching a player that has the potential to match the way Thiago could dictate a game, not individual quality, because they're different. It's a whole different conversation. But in terms of dictating the game, you're going to struggle to find a better midfielder in the Premier League for it. And the fact we got him for 35 million is an absolute joke. But yeah, game yesterday, special. He's a special player, and I think if we win anything this season, he is going to be a linchpin for it, without a doubt.
And there we go. Craig, I'm not going to get your opinions on McAllister if that's okay, because we are running low on time. But the stats are on the screen. We all think he's brilliant. I did think he took a while to get going, but since he's got going, mate, your absolute sorry, I shouldn't. Do you want to see my NFC pass?
Wait, what?
I'll literally get up my NFC pass right now. There we go.
He wants
right there.
to Norwich.
The ticket is right there on my phone, mate.
All right, don't worry about it, brother. That's fine.
I'm flying over to Liverpool in March, and regardless of what happens, if I get a ticket or not, I'll probably.
Literally, I don't get these.
Why buy?
Tweet me on my personal account. I don't want to say anything on here. Tweet me, SMXLFC, and we'll have the conversation in there. Yeah, bro. I'll show you the games I've been to this season.
No, listen. All I'll say on that is, at the end of the day, I know I've supported this club since I was 3.
Yeah.
I've gone through Rafa, Hodgson. Well, I went through Houllier, Rafa, Hodgson. Been through games. I was going games when Davin and Gog was up top. You know what I mean? Benteke was up top.
Even if he wasn't, what? Someone that hides behind Diogo Jota on the internet,
listen,
you know what I mean?
Don't get rattled by people, man. That's obviously that's what they're trying to do. You know.
I wish I could afford to go over from here every once a week.
Right, you're getting timed out. You don't come for Craig and Mike on this podcast.
Hey. Go on. I
don't know if you can time out Twitter users.
Damn.
Oh, no.
I didn't even get to see his comments.
Craig, because you're so offended by what this guy has to say, we're going to let you go first. In fact, I don't know how we're going to do this. We all know, right, I can save some time here. Callagher's going to start against
Fulham. Question. I'm going Norwich at home.
Our Academy 11, is it?
Well, sorry, just for those listening on, if you're not watching, I have got the team selector up. We are about to quickly go into the Fulham lineup because we do need to spend just a couple of minutes on the academy. Let's just try, and in fact, we might just leave that for another show, I think, unless you guys are happy to talk about it now. It's up to you, I don't mind. Craig, what's your back four for Fulham on Wednesday, mate?
We go again. I don't see any reason to change. When's Trent back? How many more weeks is Trent?
I think they said maybe after this one.
Okay, yeah.
They're expecting him, Szoboszlai, and Robbo all to return to training in the build-up to the Chelsea game. They probably won't be ready for Chelsea, though.
Yeah.
So you think that it's the same and Quansah doesn't come in?
Oh, for the Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously I want to see Quansah play. Yeah, I do want to see him play.
I think he comes in.
Yeah, no, I think he will, because especially what we were talking about there with Konate and his injury record. So I think it would be the case, but you never know. Just this is one thing I wanted to say earlier on when we talk about like predicted lineups and the rotation and things like that with the squad, is that one player himself might just say to Klopp, "No, I want to play. Like, I want the rhythm. I want to keep going." So like with that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, no, I would like to see Quansah play in the cup. He's doing brilliantly. Deserves his spot. Obviously, you can see why he's not playing in the Premiership. Hope he keeps that. Him and Kelleher. Hope that keeps going. Yeah.
Do you agree, Mike? Quansah comes in.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I'd imagine so. I think it's been great this season. Great academy product, so it's great to see him come in. Bobby Clark and James McConnell, I'd love to see them come off the bench if the game's going well as well. Just keeping the field sort of
I was like, oh my
rested.
God,
No,
winning
not
2-1, Mike.
not a star, but I think they're both talented young lads, so it'd be good to see them get involved for sure.
You're happy with that back four, first of all, before we get your midfield?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm with Craig on that for sure.
Yeah. And it's nice to see Quansah in with Van Dijk as well, because was it the Arsenal game? I felt so sorry for him. Like we had no Trent, we had no Virgil, so we had no like out ball in defense. So we were just like, we had Gomez, Van Dijk, or Gomez, Konate, and Quansah trying to have a full press on them, which just wasn't. They're not those type of center backs. They need one player who they can kind of feed it into. So Quansah needs more time with Van Dijk in that regard, so it takes a bit of pressure off him on the ball.
Cool, Mike. What's your midfield three, mate? We'll see if we agree.
This guy in the chat's making me laugh. I can't lie.
I blocked him. It's fine. I've got on my phone.
No, it's making me laugh. I got called a plastic and not a local, even though my entire family's from Liverpool. I live 20 minutes away. But yeah, go on. Sorry, go ahead. What was the question?
Your midfield three, mate.
Midfield three. Again, I can't imagine it changing all too much. So I can see Jones, maybe Jones, Gravenberch, McAllister as your three. Probably be what I'd expect.
Okay, yeah, we don't really have much to go with. We have some of the young lads that you mentioned, but again, we're only winning 2-1. It's away. It's a tough away game as well. I don't see
Bobby Clark and that. But I mean,
Jones have a little injury.
Oh yeah.
No, apparently he was just looking after himself, is the way Klopp's described it. So you should be all right.
Okay.
If he's not, then it would probably be
Elliot.
Something like Elliot. Yeah. Mate. I'm probably inclined to think it will be that anyway, because Jones played a lot of football. But listen, it's only 2-1. I think we still need our best team. At the minute, Curtis Jones is in that best team. So if Curtis Jones is fit, if he's available, as long as I'm concerned, he starts. Could potentially go with Elliot again as right centre mid. But yeah, I think Gravenberch probably needs a game. He needs to start, because that's the only way he's going to get better. People have moaned about Gravenberch's performances of recent, and yeah, he could do better, but equally he's not getting a consistent amount of minutes, and he needs games like this, so he probably starts. And then this is so simple, because there's literally nothing else we can do. It just depends on if you have Nunez on the left or whatever on the right. Gakpo actually. I think Gakpo obviously comes into this and start. He is the Carabao extraordinaire. He has scored 4 goals, and then it just depends, Mike, who you're going to have on the right, Jota or Diaz.
I'd probably say Jota, just off of form. I think we're trying to just finish the game off, aren't we? Really, I love Diaz, but I think that's the 3 you got to go with. I hope Gakpo gets a full game. As long as the game's going well, I hope he gets a full game, because he does seem to get pulled off early. He does seem to have limited minutes at the moment. So, yeah, hopefully he gets a full game.
Yeah, there we are. That is our lineup to face Fulham, guys, on Wednesday night. So we just run through it. It's Kelleher, Gomez, Van Dijk, Quansah, Bradley, McAllister, Jones, Gravenberch, Gakpo, Nunez, Jota, and there'll be obviously players on the bench. There'll be kids on the bench. And we are 2-1 up, but the game's not done, of course. It's a tough place to go. We need to go and win that game, because I think getting to Wembley at the first time of asking the season, it's what we did in the 21-22 season when we were on for a quad. I feel like just getting to Wembley that first time, winning the cup that first time, it set us up really nicely to get the confidence. And I think when you've got this amount of new players in the team that we've got now that haven't won a trophy with Liverpool yet, you're looking at this team now. There's Jarrell Quansah, there's Conor Bradley, there's McAllister, there's Gravenberch, there's Gakpo, there's Nunez, Community Shield, but depends if you want to count that. So there's a lot of players in that starting lineup that haven't won a trophy with us yet. So I just think getting this first trophy would be nothing but a big boost. We'll see how we get on. But guys, we are going to leave it there. I did want to speak about the academy, but time just went. We spent half an hour talking about PGMOL. So for next time, we are going to talk about the academy 100%. We're going to speak about how the guys have got on that have come from the academy, and how important the academy is to Liverpool Football Club, and how we can see some of the players coming through, developing into the future. We will do that at the end of the Fulham match reaction on Wednesday, because I imagine some of them will get on in the Carabao Cup at some stage. So I think it would be relevant and fitting to speak about it then as well. Craig and Mike, thanks for coming on once again. And massive thank you to our channel sponsor once again as well. Remember, guys, TAT Pod at checkout, or if you go on the website, there's actually a better discount code you can use for January. So take care, smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you Wednesday night, guys.
Thanks a lot.